Hi everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to draw a beautiful landscape with Procreate on an iPad Pro. I'm gonna share with you all the steps of the process and my Procreate tips and tricks to make sure you can draw this with me. For the canvas, I'm just using the screen size at 300 dpi and the color profile is RGB. To start, we'll fill the background with this light bluish gray. Then we'll create a new layer and draw a little hill. I'm using the Procreate Studio Pen brush. It's one of my favorite brushes for drawing and filling. Please take a look on the color sticker placed on the left corner of the screen. That's the hex code of the color I'm currently using. Drag the color to fill the contour, then create a new layer and draw a second hill. We'll repeat these steps a few more times to create some more hills and mountains that will add some depth to the landscape. When creating new layers, you will need to keep in mind that their placement on the layer list is really important. A higher position on the list means that you will see that layer in front of your drawing, and a lower position means that it will be situated behind the other layers and possibly covered by them. I'm usually drawing quite fast, but today I'm making an effort to really slow down to make sure you can follow along. But if I'm drawing too fast for you, please pause the video whenever you need to catch up. I'm just adding more layers and choose a lighter color every time I go further away from the foreground. Later in the process, we'll be blurring some of the outermost layers. Actually, this technique was invented in the 15th century by the famous painter Leonardo da Vinci. You weren't expecting that, right? It is called sfumato, that means gradient in Italian. Leonardo used this fine shading to produce a soft transition between colors and tones in order to achieve a more believable perspective for the image. See, we're learning both digital drawing and art history here on the channel. The truth is, there are so many techniques from traditional arts that we can use when doing a digital drawing. I learned them all in school, so it would be such a shame not to share them with you. When you're done, you can use the transform tool to move some layers around if you need to. To be honest, I do this all the time, especially when I don't do a small sketch before the drawing. Now, of course, sketching is very useful no matter your drawing level, but sometimes you just need to leave the planning aside and have fun and see where the drawing takes you. To select a layer with a finger touch, go to Action, that is the key button up there in the menu, just near the gallery. Then go to Prefs, Gesture Controls, and on the layer select Choose Touch. Before we start to do the shading, we really need to alpha lock all the layers. Just swipe 2 fingers to the right on the layer name, as I do here. For shading, I am using one of my own Procreate brushes. It's called the Dry Acrylic Wash. It will be available for you really soon. Until then, you can use the Procreate airbrush instead. It won't look the same, but it will get the job done. For me, it feels more natural to choose a color and use it to add a basic shading to all the layers. I just switch between them using the touch shortcut that I showed you before. Learning and customizing your Procreate shortcut will make the whole drawing process more enjoyable and also a lot faster. The best thing about this illustration is that you can use this technique with pretty much any color palette that you like. And also, you can draw a bunch of things, not just hills and mountains. Go ahead and try some trees, an ocean view. You can contour some houses or animals in the landscape. I promise, all of these options will look great. By the way, would you like me to draw some of those in a new video tutorial? Please let me know in a comment. Now I'm creating a new layer to paint the sky. I don't want it to cover any of the hills I drew before, so I'll make sure the sky layer will be placed under all this, just above the background. Why do I choose to spend more time drawing clouds? That's just because the sky is the one that really defines the general mood of a landscape in an illustration. Have you ever noticed that? Can you see how this whole drawing came to life? I've got one more trick for making the sky look even better. I don't get to use the smudge tool often, but here it will make a huge difference. Right now, I'll use the oil paint brush with the smudge tool, because I think it's the perfect effect for clouds. It's a basic Procreate brush, so you have it for sure. Feel free to try all the other brushes and see how the smudge changes, and if you want to try something else, just tap 2 fingers on the screen to undo and choose a different brush. Now, I want to blur the further hills and mountains, just as I told you before. We don't want any harsh lines in there, so select those layers one by one and use the Gaussian blur with a pencil to have more control. Now channel your inner Leonardo artist and start blurring to adapt that famous sfumato technique to our drawing. Little steps like this one make me so happy, because I know what a difference they make for the illustration. What I haven't mentioned is that you have to turn off the alpha lock when blurring the contour of the layers. You can leave your illustration like this and it will be absolutely beautiful. But I really want to add some flying birds. They are so easy to draw and I know they will be perfect for this image. So I'll create a new layer on top of everything and I'll start drawing them using the Studio Pen brush. I'm just building up the shapes slowly. They don't have to be perfect, so don't worry about that. You can simplify them even more just drawing the head shape and the wings. I didn't bother to draw the birds on separate layers, so now I am using the selection tool with the transform tool to move them around. After that, all there's left to do is adding some light on them to match the landscape, and we're done. Thank you so much if you had the patience to watch this tutorial till the end. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one, and turn on that notification button to make sure you won't miss any new tutorial. See you very soon with a new video. Bye!